July 24th, we're doing waivers again. Jon and John, how are you doing?
Super fantastic. Ready to go.
Good. Everything's good. My microphone sounds okay. You sound okay. And
That's
we're going to
good.
talk about some waivers for the people still in. I mean, I think podcast views are going to go down because like online, all the fantasy baseball bros that you follow and stuff, they've all moved on to football, right? I mean, it's like pathetic. I don't know.
It's a very weird week. I have 11 teams in Fantrax, and every morning I get this trade was executed, this trade was executed, this trade was executed. I usually get like 3 to 7 alerts about that. I've gotten one all week.
Yeah, I've given up on several teams. I did that too early, but I don't know. I just like to draft. I don't like to manage the teams. I like to manage my one team, the home league team, where the money's not even significant. But
glorious.
Yes. And then fantasy football is starting. We're going to do some stuff at MLB Data Warehouse. I'm just trying to. I mean, the main thing, just so people know, I would say probably at least half of fantasy baseball people are also interested in football. So last year I separated to another Substack, tried to maximize the money, make people double pay or get football people that aren't into baseball. Anyway, I'm not going to do that this year. It's just going to be everything we did last year. I'll do most of that again, like weekly articles, the dashboard. The dashboard's really nice. That's probably worth the $10 a month or whatever it's going to be. But then I'll have a little bit of some projections and tools, and I'll just write whatever I want. It's just kind of fun for me because I like fantasy football, and the winter can get pretty boring. So just know that if you want that, you just keep, if you're subscribed to MLB Data Warehouse as any level of paid, you'll get all that. You don't have to do anything else. I'm not asking for any more money. Just kind of don't want people to cancel the membership. I would guess that I was probably set up this fall to lose more people because people are wondering if there will even be a season, right? So
Yeah.
people probably aren't going to be interested in paying any amount of money until they know there's a season going to happen. So maybe that's my angle here too. But football stuff coming. It won't really happen until, you don't need me to tell you the draft stuff. I don't even know it. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some fantasy football genius. But when the season gets started, and certainly after baseball season's over, you'll see a lot from me because that's fun. But baseball waiver wire targets, it's tough. It's always tough, but it's extra tough right now. The trade deadline is going to change a lot of things. So next week, we still won't be there though, will we? Next week will be the 31st, and the deadline is the 4th.
August 3rd.
3rd. Okay, yep. So that's silly.
Middle of the day, of course.
Yeah, on like a Tuesday then, or Monday? Is that a Monday?
The 3rd is a Monday.
3rd, yeah, yes. Monday. That'll be weird, but fun, I guess. But that will change things, and that'll get some call-ups, you'd think. I'm thinking, just real quick here, I got Kate Anderson on the bottom of the list. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm cope, or maybe it's false hope or something. But they talked about Hancock getting traded, right? And Luis Castillo was in the rumors before that. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, could it be that they trade one or both of those guys and give Kate Anderson a look? His K-to-walk ratio is like 40% in the minors.
I think it's a good opportunity for them to sell high on Hancock. I mean, he came out of nowhere this year. Former first-round pick for them back in 2020, which I think you went through the 2020 and 2021 drafts here recently, and they were okay. But he hadn't done anything until this year. So I'm sure there's somebody out there that would like a young, controllable starting pitcher.
That's another thing with the lockout. Like, 2020 really jacked up a lot of. We'll never know. I guess you can never know what would have happened, but they just didn't have minor league season in 2020, right? And these guys just didn't have a year of development or getting looks. And then the teams in 2021 had to draft without having last season. I don't think they played much college baseball. Maybe they started the college baseball season, but then I'm sure they shut it down in March.
COVID. I think they got to March, and then basically their non-conference season they started, and then they were done.
So they were just like shooting blanks. I don't know. I didn't really do like a close comparison of like how the 2020 and 2021 drafts went with normal, but yeah, I mean, any draft you look at, there's gonna be a bunch of busts in the first round and stuff, but it did seem like that was crazy. But that might, is possible, could happen again, which is why I just don't think, that's not why, but I really just don't think they're going to shut down the whole season. I think both sides of it have too much to lose there, but we'll talk about that in the offseason as we're all hoping and praying that things happen. But Kate Anderson, just in case you have like an empty spot. I don't know. Like I have him on the bench in my 10-team league just because I'm thinking, okay, if they do trade, maybe they'll get him up to finish the year. But upside's probably kind of low. They probably won't push the innings like crazy, and who knows what they'll do. And who knows if he'll even be able to go from Double A to major leagues and have success right away. But he's on the list. And then I threw in Shane Drohan. Again, he's 60% owned, but I just want to keep saying it. He's going to pitch here in 2 hours. You won't be listening. You can go back and look at that. By the time you're listening to this podcast, that start will be probably done. It's against the Rockies in Milwaukee, so that should be a good one. But I think he's worth an ad, but probably owned in most of your leagues if you're listening. Here's a name though, Zach Thornton. I was interested in this guy. I looked at him last week during a DFS thing, trying to figure out if he was worth the DFS salary. I didn't think he really was, but yeah, there's reason to look at him, and you took a look here. So tell us about Zach Thornton.
Yeah. So if you were looking at Mets pitching prospects before the season started, Zach would not be on the top of that list.
Yeah.
Brandon Sprout, before he got traded to the Brewers, would be one of those guys. Jon and John, obviously, be one of those guys. Jack Wenninger would be one of those guys, because Zach Thornton last year on a loaded Double A roster got hurt and then missed basically the last 2 months of the season. But as a lefty, a crafty lefty, as they say, he's not going to be a great strikeout pitcher, but I do think he's a guy who knows how to limit contact, and he has very good control. He came up a couple times and then went back down, but now that he's back up, it sounds like he's a guy that the Mets are going to hold on to and build around. So it sounds like he's got a rotation spot if he wants it.
And his name, I'm just realizing.
Yes, the H has disappeared all of a sudden.
Right. And that's am I crazy? I'm not crazy.
I don't know. I don't know if he's Zachary and everyone always thought it was with an H. And then I don't know. I guess now that he thinks he's a major leaguer, he's going to get rid of it.
I swear. Yeah. Cause he has two different names on the dashboards. And so when you look at him on the dashboard right now, you only see one start because the H was there. And this is crazy. Yes. I know that sometimes you get like Luis Robert Jr. and some people don't put the junior, but I've never seen just an H, a letter just disappear like this. So I got to do something about that. Hopefully there's no other Zach Thorntons. I thought he was Trent Thornton for a minute.
Not the same
crappy reliever for the Blue Jays or something, but
and the Mariners too, with a lot of teams.
I was going to give you numbers on the dashboard, but I can't do it because I don't know what's right. But Zach Thornton so far, 23 innings. We're going to Fangraphs. Shout out to them. Only 6.5 K per nine. K per nine. Who's losing K per nine? Where's the K rate? 19.5%. 6.9% walk rate. We're talking just about, what did I just say? 23 innings. But yeah, lefty. It's got a 2.98 FIP so far. And he's someone to look at for sure. There's a lot of teams out there that just can be beaten with left-handed pitching, and that's kind of the thing you're looking at. I did put another Met on here. Christian Scott hasn't really gotten through 6 innings, maybe once or something. He got kind of screwed over by Brett Beatty in right field. The last start, his ball should have been caught. Gave up a few earned runs because of it. It wasn't an error. It was just misplayed. But, yeah, I really like Scott, 28% K rate. And the fastball looks really good. And then the sweeper has always been good. He's got a problem with lefties. You'll probably see him give up some dingers to lefties. Doesn't have a changeup, doesn't have a curveball. Still needs some work in that regard, but a lot of strikeouts so far. So I kind of think Christian Scott is developing well. So 2 Mets pitchers there to take a look at. And yeah, okay. So I'm a DFS guy, and Brady Singer is someone on the list that you have talked about with his string of quality starts. And I hate the guy because the projection model for the daily hitter projections every time, especially in Cincinnati, they're like play all the bats against him. And it's like these dream spots. It's Singer, it's Great American, it's 90 degrees. And then he just throws a quality startup. So I don't know. It's obviously a little bit tough to believe, but you pointed out some things here. So go ahead.
I threw in his numbers. It's the weirdest split. He's having, a dominant season at Great American Small Park where normally the ball flies out, but he's got under 3-hour ERA. His slugging is more than 100 points less than on the road. But he has been putting together here last few outings, 5 quality starts in his last 7 outings. He's a guy who gets hot at times,
Yeah.
and this is his time. 41% owned as we have here. Might be a guy that you'd be interested in as a good streamer.
Yeah, he's got his last 7 fantasy point totals. So in this scoring, like 15 is a decent start. Anything mid-20s is what you really want, but like 15 like doesn't kill you. His last 7, 20, 27, 6, 14, 21, 25, 21. So it's been pretty good. Hard to trust, but he has at least 6 strikeouts or at least 5 strikeouts in, I don't even know what this is, 9 starts. Every start since June 5th. He's got at least 5 strikeouts, which not a lot of dudes can do. So, yeah, he's got some walks, but somehow he's limiting the home. No, he's not really limiting the home runs. He's given up 21 of them. But yeah,
he's going deep into games, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hard to make too big of an argument with that. If it weren't for like Brady Singer having this long history of being sucky, and I don't know, the Great American thing, they didn't change the park, but it just seems like those games never really seem to go off.
Well, and you'll see, I'll have this in a park prediction article coming up soon. The Reds, you would think, okay, they're home all week. Go ahead and start them all. They have actually hit better on the road than at home. Now, their power is a little better at home, not surprisingly, but overall, they are much better on the road as a hitting team. It's been a weird season.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good lineup. It's hard to like pick out when you see a park factor, like how much is the park and how much is just that home lineup, right? But yeah, I mean, the Cincinnati, I looked at like OPS by park on the park data tab on the dashboard. They're like outside the top 10. Cincinnati is 729 OPS among all hitters in Cincinnati. 18.6% home run to fly ball rate is 4th highest. So that's going to keep going. They're not moving the fences at all. But yeah. Anyway, Brady Singer is a guy. He can not miss a ton of bats, but he can generate ground balls, soft contact, and stuff. Certainly seems like a guy that you can play against weaker offenses. AJ Smith-Shawver, we're going to try this again, I guess. Another injury, but he's coming back.
Yeah, he had Tommy John back in June 2025. He's been on a rehab assignment. Last week, he went 4 innings and 72 pitches in AAA. Pretty much repeated that again last night, up to 85 pitches. So he was a guy that was starting to become a more consistent pitcher in 2025, blew out his arm. I would imagine he's going to have a limited pitch innings count here, but should be activated probably next week. And that's a nice pickup for not only the end of the season, but I think he's going to be a very good pitcher to go with next year.
I think I saw Schwellenbach is going to throw some bullpens too. I mean, it's probably a situation where he gets into the rotation in September, throws a few innings. Maybe they can use him in the playoffs. Probably not a fantasy guy, but yeah, don't forget about some of these Braves guys. The Braves seem like a playoff team, and they just really got to figure out a good 3 or 4 starters. AJSS might be part of that. To throw in here on the shallow pitching targets, here's the softest upcoming schedules. Few names here. I guess we'll get to Blanco soon, but he's here. This is looks at the next 10 days and just picks out the softest schedule. So Brandon Sproat here is going to go to San Francisco on Monday, probably. And then if things line up, stay lined up, he'll get a start in Los Angeles against the Angels. So that is pretty much ideal right there. So Sproat, not a 6-7 inning guy or anything like that, but decent. I don't hate the guy, and 2 great matchups coming up. Same for Robert Gasser, actually a little better, not better by the number here, but Gasser will get a home start against the Rockies and then throw in that Angels series again if things stay online. Kyle Harrison might come back. I'm not sure what the status with him is, but it's hard to project who's pitching 9 days from now, which is what we're doing here, but that's that. Spencer Arrighetti, we'll see. He's pitching tonight. I think it's just so many walks, so much trouble that you don't really want to mess with it, but Arrighetti goes to the White Sox. I guess that's not even really a good matchup at this point. Then he goes to the Angels, and then he gets the Blue Jays. So at least a lighter schedule there. And Ronald Blanco's here, but we'll talk about him because he's on the list. He came back. Let's go right into him. Decent strikeout rate, right? And flash that. What was it, 6 or 7 strikeouts in his return? But he's back now. 8, even better.
Yep.
So what do we like about Ronald Blanco, the no-hitter man from a few years back?
Yeah, definitely the no-hitter man. A guy who really probably won you a league back in 2024. because he came out of nowhere and was really the Astros ace that year. He's a guy that was struggling at the beginning of last year, ended up getting Tommy John surgery. Now he's back. He's a guy that I like for what he can be, which is a little beyond an innings eater, because he is a guy that will strike out pretty close to 9 per 9. And he also, when he's going well, as you can see here, his whip is going to be pretty low. That big year in 2024, it was 1.09. Last year when he was struggling, it was still only 1.16, and he's already at 1.17 or 1.07 after his first outing. So even though he didn't make it out of the fifth inning with his first start, he did show pretty good control, which is usually the last thing to come back from Tommy John. So it's good to see he's already got that.
Yeah, how do you get a 1.09 whip with a 10% walk rate? That seems like a very nice BABIP or something there. Blanco's a weird guy, though. I mean, he can like generate soft contact, I guess. I don't really remember too much about him. Only saw 48 innings last year, but the strikeout rate is always 24%, 25%, which, like you said, that's about 1 per inning. So certainly, I thought he could even be in the shallow league portion of this. Did you consider that?
Since he was sitting there at 21%, I figured we could bump him down to here. So I think a lot of people probably after that outing, since he gave up all those runs, probably picked him up and dropped him this past week. So I think he's probably still heavily available.
Yeah. Do you like the banner I put here on the screen so people know what they're looking at? Sharp,
nice.
Right? Yeah, very good. I really doubt anybody watches these pods, but I guess there's not usually much to see. Me and John aren't the most attractive guys to look at. I'll speak for myself, I guess. Sorry, John, but
that's all right.
All right. Deep league. So next guy, yeah. Jordan Romano.
The closer vampire is what I'm going to call him from now on.
He's got saves for 2 different teams. Three guys I learned yesterday have saves for 2 different teams this year, and he's one of them. But the Rockies closer, Jordan Romano.
He was the guy that probably ruined your fab budget back in early April when he was getting 4 saves in the first 10 days. He's back and appears to be the Rockies closer all of a sudden. So he's got another 4 saves here in the last 2 weeks. So I don't know. I'm sure if you picked him up in April, you're not picking him up again. But who knows? Weirder things have happened.
It's just like, do some clubs just really believe? And I don't know. You sign him, whatever. You're the Rockies, but why is he always the closer? I don't like.
And he wasn't really. I mean, they brought him up a couple. He went in a couple games. He didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden, the third time, he got a save, and then all he gets is saves.
2.9 ERA in a really good season in 2023, and then at least 1 elbow surgery, right? And it's just I mean, he does have a 30% K rate this year in 17 games, 14 innings. But
yeah, he got a little wild there at the end with the Angels, which is how he ended up getting. I mean, you got to imagine he saves 4 games the first 2 weeks of the season. Before April is out, they release him.
Yeah,
that sounds to me like you're done, but he keeps coming back.
He's got dirt on the league or something. He's like, I need 3 more saves this year somewhere, or I'm gonna reveal your secrets. And they're like, okay, Rockies, we need you to take this one. I don't know, but sure. Sometimes you just need saves. I just picked up Grant Taylor in the home league. Looks like he's probably not really available to qualify for this, but they like to split it up. They'll use a lefty sometimes, but the White Sox are a pretty good team, and Grant Taylor's a very good pitcher. So that's my closer add on there if he's available. Hunter Dobbins. I like Hunter Dobbins. Cardinals guy, required from the Red Sox. And yeah, he's back, and the Cardinals could use him. 2% owned.
Yeah, he was looking pretty good with the Red Sox at the beginning of last year, then tore his ACL, and wasn't sure if he was going to be able to be ready for the early part of the season, but he was back out there pretty early and finally got called up this past week. And might be a guy that sticks in the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a weird one because they could be a seller or they could be a buyer at the deadline. Yeah. It's hard to tell what they're going to do. I think the smart move would be to be a seller and move up some of these guys that they've gotten down on the farm, including Dobbins. I'd like to see him get a spot in the rotation and see what he can do.
He's got 6 pitches, throws 6 pitches, and the lowest usage one is the curveball at 8%. So that's a deep mix. I mean, the stuff plus is not horrible. So all his pitches kind of hover within a few points of average. Decent strike. I mean, he's about a league average pitcher, I would say, but that's kind of what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, in these deep leagues, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, 23.5% K rate, 8.4% walk rate. Again, like the league average K rate, in case you're wondering, is around 22%. League average walk rate's around 8%, so he's right in there. A tick up on the K rate. 312 BABIP, 350, 253 expected batting average against. Like it all looks pretty average, and yeah. I mean, are the Pirates going to make the playoffs? I'm so mad that the Cardinals. Can we do like a Pirates veer off here? Let's see the standings. Who do you root for, John? Tell me again.
I rooted for the Braves for the longest time. I don't know. Here in Indiana, we really don't have any roots with anybody. So
you can be a Pirate fan with me, right?
Yeah, I can be a Pirate fan, sure.
Who could dislike the Pirates? Who can't? Who wouldn't be rooting for the Pirates?
Exactly.
Unless they're playing your favorite team, like. But it looks like the Cardinals have slipped. We're going to have to start looking at these standing stuff. And I've been trying to do that a little bit more in my stuff because right now is decision time in the next week for these teams. Not right now. They're going to see how these next 10 days play over. But depending on, I mean, it's crazy. Like this week, these next 10 days are almost more important than any other time. Like just take the Pirates example. They're 3 games over 500. The division is forgotten about. They're 11 and a half games back. They're like a half game out of the wild card. If they go 3-7, they probably look to sell or at least not give up prospects for some acquisition. But then if they go 7-3, then they're right in it and everything changes. And that's the case with so many of these teams. I mean, it looks like the Braves are fine. The Brewers are fine. Dodgers are fine. But everyone else, Philly's probably fine. Cubs look fine. But with this expanded playoffs still going on, 6 playoff teams in each league, like there's a lot of teams that are right in this mix and it gets all weird. I just want the Pirates to make the freaking playoffs so bad. Like, so bad. I don't know.
Even if you just get the 1 playoff game and they're gone?
They would get at least 2.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's 3. Yeah, which is better than what we got in 2013 through 2016, 2014, 2015. It's my podcast. I can say whatever I want. I'll just go on. People probably don't remember this, but I remember it very well. Pirates had a good team in 2013. They made the NLDS, lost in 5 games to the Cardinals. And then 2 straight years, they hosted the wild card game. 3 straight years, they hosted the 1 single wild card game. 2015, they got absolutely. 2014, it was that Bumgarner year. Remember when Bumgarner threw 1 million innings with like a 1.2 ERA in the world in the playoffs? So he did that. He complete game shutted them out. That's not how you say that. He threw a complete game shutout in that wild card game. We were smoked from the beginning. The next year, unless I might be flipping these 2 years, but Jake Arrieta did kind of the same thing. A young Kyle Schwarber, hit a ball into the river just to completely eviscerate the hopes. So we're at 10 years now since the Pirates have played the playoffs, and I'm way too into it. Like I'm not an emotional guy, but if anything kind of gets me, it's the Pirates, which is probably a spiritual problem for me. Okay, Kumar Rocker, I threw him on here. Good numbers lately. It's just funny. I might even show this. I wrote about him the other day. I don't know if people looked at it, but you look at his pitch mix. It's really funny. Give me your quick take on Rocker, see if we kind of agree, and then I'll show this because it's hilarious.
I was big on him coming into the first round that he got into the draft because I think he was in the draft, then he didn't sign, so then he got drafted again the following season. I thought that first time around he was an interesting arm. Obviously, the son of a former NFL player, so he's a big dude and has been a star since he was in high school. So I just don't know if there's enough pitches. Unlike Dobbins with a 6-pitch mix, I mean, you're listing 5 pitches here, but I think he throws like 2.
There's one good one. He's got a really good slider, and that's it. If you look at the MLB DW grades here, it's not like a stuff model. That's here too, but the grades are actually like the results-based stuff, swinging strikes, how hard contact and stuff. He's got a 114 on the slider, and it's even better lately. It's a really good slider, but the sinker's at 92. That's real bad. Cutter's 96, bad. 4-seamer's 95. That's pretty bad. Changeup's really, really bad. Doesn't throw it very much, but it's just like he should be a reliever probably, and I think he'll eventually get there. But it can work. I mean, we've seen some big outings from him, and his last one was really good as well. So I don't know. You'll get some good from Rocker. You'll get a lot of bad. I don't know which one will outweigh. Probably more the bad, but
Yeah, when your fastball is averaging 94, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's got nothing. He's got a slider, really good slider though. I don't know. Crazier things have happened. Some guys just dominate with slider for a couple months. One more reliever here, another speculative guy. The Diamondbacks with their MLB record of all time last year. The Diamondbacks had 17 different players get a save. It hasn't been that bad this year, but we've got a guy, Brandon Garcia, who I had never heard of. So you'll have to do
Yes. Brandon Garcia, very interesting. I put it in here. Obviously, the closers for 2025, at least to start the season for the Diamondbacks, were Justin Martinez and AJ Puck, who both ended up getting arm surgeries last year and still yet to return this year. This year, they turned it back over to good old Paul Sewald again. Brought him back from a stint with the Guardians and the Tigers, and he's 36, leading them in saves, I think, with 23. Yep. So having a pretty decent season, but I just don't see that Paul Sewald's going to be back again next year. Garcia is one of those guys, like Sewald, was acquired in a trade with the Mariners, and a much younger guy, a big guy, 6'4", 235. He's a lefty, unlike Sewald. So I think he's a very interesting person in terms of getting him now to potentially be in the closer mix next year.
Next year, okay. But do you think Sewald could get traded? Probably not. They're in the hunt.
Yeah, they're another one of those teams that's just sort of on the border. If I was the Diamondbacks, I would realize that I'm not that good, and I probably would get rid of him if I could get something interesting for him, and maybe even slide Garcia into the closer spot now. He has a save already.
Sewald has a 4.95 ERA. Garcia's at 1.69, so pretty clear who the better pitcher is. Although Sewald's strikeout rate is good. His walk rate's not bad. Just giving up 2.2 home runs per 9.
Yeah, I was gonna say too many images of me looking at him watching the ball go flying over his shoulder.
Yeah, that's 9 homers in 36 innings for him. And if I think if it were me, and I like in for starting pitchers, you like whip and you like low walk rates, but for a closer, you don't care that much. What you want a high strikeout rate, and you don't want home runs. Those two things are almost equally important. And we've seen that in Seattle, right? Andres Munoz gave up like 1 homer last year or something. And that was just like so valuable, because when you have good stuff and you don't give up home runs, you got a 2-run lead. That's like 4 hits that they need if one's not a home run. So that's a good call out. I didn't realize how good Brandon Garcia's numbers are. I don't really love that he's a lefty, because it seems like those lefties just kind of take the back seat in general in getting saves, because they come in when the lefty's up. For whatever weird reason, a quirk of life, like the lefty advantage for a pitcher is bigger than the righty. Is there any understanding of that? Like, is it clear what I just said there? Does that make sense?
Yes. No, it makes total sense. It's sort of there's something about my dad was left-handed, so whenever we practiced, I got to practice against a left-hander. I hit right-handed, so I was smoking the ball off of him, but it never really happened when it came time to play, because normally we hardly ever played in Little League against left-handed pitchers. So, but left-handers always seem to have a big advantage. I'm sure it has something to do with the angles they usually get on the arm angles that they're bringing the ball in at.
But do lefties throw like more sidearm than righties?
It feels that way. It definitely, to my eye, it feels that way.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not is probably.
You could certainly look it up. I don't know. You would think that a right-handed pitcher against a right-handed hitter would have the same advantage as a lefty versus a lefty, but it's not true. The lefty is the best matchup, no matter where you look it up. It's true. Maybe just because a lot of left-handed hitters growing up, like you just mentioned, there's just not a lot of left-handed pitchers. So maybe it's just like, well, we haven't seen these guys as much. So anyway, that's interesting. General rule here, not to knock the Garcia thing here, but general rule, it does seem like righties get an advantage in accruing saves to me, but that doesn't apply to every individual thing. Let's go to hitters. Shallow league, another like cheap shot I'm taking. Stephen Kwan is 60% owned, so over the threshold here, but he's got a OPS over 1,000 since I forget what it was. I wrote it in the daily notes this morning. Last 5-6 weeks, or maybe since June 1st. I don't know. He's got a 1-something OPS without a home run. You get a 1 OPS without a home run is pretty impressive. Pretty lucky too.
He's back. I picked him up this morning in my.
And he even said
my little 10-teamer.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 10-teamer. Like, he was available. I wrote the daily notes this morning. I wasn't going to pick up Quan, so I'm not super mad about this. But what happens? I published the daily notes. 2 minutes later, Stephen Quan is added in my league because the guy, But that's okay. I usually go before I hit publish. I go check the waivers to see if this could happen to me. But I elected. I don't need Quan for what he does. But yeah, there was some article. Even they interviewed him, and he just said, "Well, before I was kind of thinking I could hit some home runs." He kind of got that mindset, like, "Oh, I can be a 10 home run hitter." And I think that was just kind of messing him up. And now he's back to basics. Like, yeah, let me just be Stephen Quan. You watch him. I watch the Pirates play the Guardians. If you just look at like a picture of Stephen Quan holding a bat against Aaron Judge, like, it doesn't look like they're holding the same object, right? Like, I'm sure Stephen Quan is a strong dude. He would certainly take care of me in a fight, no problem. But it looks like he has kind of some trouble holding the bat. Bats are heavy. And then Aaron Judge stands up there and it's like a toothpick, right? So anyway, Quan is just trying to go for walks, hits, and leading off again and doing a really nice job. So just in case for your 10-teamers. But yeah, Cooper Pratt, the steals are coming. He's got he's got a couple months of experience now, and it seems to be coming together for him. You wrote up Cooper Pratt here.
Yeah, yet to turn 22. It's going to happen next month. But started off hitting 211 in June. Then all of a sudden in July, his batting average has jumped to 314. The steals keep happening, like you said. He finally got to his first home run in the majors. There's a guy that the Brewers signed to an 8-year deal back in April, and you thought, oh, well, he's going to jump right up to major leagues, but they held off in bringing him up until June 16th. So he's a guy I'm pretty excited about in our MLBDW League 30-teamer. I dealt Josh Hader and his big $18 contract for Cooper Pratt and his little $1 contract. Wow. So I was pretty excited to get that. I think he's going to be the guy who's going to be the shortstop. I know Made is on the way, but it sounds like they're going to move him off of there because I think Pratt is the guy with the better defense. So if he can grow into power, which at 6'4", 210, I would imagine he is going to grow into some power. He could be a pretty good shortstop for a long time.
I didn't know he was that big. His name sounds like a small guy, and the profile makes him seem like one, but yeah, Cooper Pratt, good for the long haul, and maybe even he's hitting 290 in July. So you're getting some help right now as well from the Brewers youngster. Heriberto Hernandez, the DFS play of tonight, probably the best play on the board against German Marquez. Heriberto Hernandez, I didn't write a lot here, but his strikeout rate is surprisingly like 24%. He's got power and he's playing a little bit more. So kind of looks good for him. A lot of impressive numbers under the hood for Heriberto and the Marlins. They're kind of sputtering. I think they're probably going to play their way out of the playoffs, but he's been a big bat for them, big part of their better season they're having now. So Heriberto Hernandez, if you need some outfield power. Trevor Larnach, absolutely. Like I'm assuming he's still kind of platooning, but let me pull up. I mean, in June, he hit for a 918 OPS, hit 342. And that's carried through in July, even better. 1011 OPS for Larnach in July, hitting 343 homers. I don't know if he was hurt or he just like really stunk early on, but since June, he's been
really stunk early on.
Yeah. Did he get sent to the minors or no? It doesn't look like it.
No, he didn't. I'm sure you're confusing him with the other great lefty prospect of forever for the Twins, Matt Wallner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larnach seems to have gotten it together. It was interesting they were talking about him as a trade target. I wonder if they would still trade him at this point. Again, the Twins are a few games under 500, but they're within striking distance of a last wild card. So they are going to be a very interesting team to watch because they should be selling. But we'll see if they do.
Yeah, since June 1st, Larnach hitting 294, 8 bombs, even 2 steals. I don't know. I should have looked it up. But before this year, he was always a guy that would play against righties and not so much against lefties.
Yes.
That's probably still going on. So maybe more of a daily changes league thing. But Larnach, and this isn't the first time he's been good. I mean, he had a 771 OPS in 2024, 15 homers in 112 games. So he can hit. And he's there. Ty France, maybe this shouldn't be a shallow league guy, but he is. I was going to put him on here, but this was yours. But he's been awesome in this summer as well.
CBS says only 15% of their owners have him, which I was shocked. I was like, how is that possible? Because he's been going nuts here the last 2 weeks. 5 home runs since the All-Star break. And he probably is already gone. If you're in a daily waivers league, I can't imagine he's still out there.
But it's Ty France. People aren't. I wouldn't buy on Ty France. Like I say that to say
either.
he's probably more available than you should for that reason.
Yeah, I mean it's a definite heater over the last couple of weeks. I think he has 9 home runs in July. This from a guy who's never hit more than 20 in a season, and he's been playing for 8 years. So maybe another week or two that he might be able to give you something, and then wait to see if they play in Colorado. But other than that, probably not much.
Yeah, 6 homers in July. I think 10 since June.
Yeah.
His home run rate, which is the number of home runs divided by the number of plate appearances. Listen to this. 2021 through 2026, I'm going to give you 6 numbers here. These are his home run rates by year. 2.8%, 3.3%, 1.8%, 2.4%, 1.4% last year, 6.2% this year. That's not going to sustain, but that is like a 40 homer pace, if not more than that. So pretty incredible. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in his last 7 games. Maybe 6 in his last 9 games or something like that. So they're all coming now. Maybe swinging harder. I don't know. But if you picked him up a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you are absolutely profiting like bonkers. So the Padres just like they need solutions. I guess the offense has been really disappointing, and maybe he helps them. I think he's an excellent first base defender, so that helps him too. I think he won a Gold Glove with Minnesota, didn't he?
Could be. He's a pretty decent defender because he's a former second baseman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll do it. So, yeah, Ty France with the Padres. And one more group to get to, the deep league hitters. Talking about Joe Mack again. Augustine Ramirez is down in AAA stealing a bunch of bases, but I think it's Joe Mack's job, as you point out here.
Yeah, he's got the defense. Ramirez never going to be the defensive catcher that I'm sure the Marlins one would be, but Mac's defense is going to keep him in the lineup most of the week. So his power is starting to come around. I don't think he's ever going to be a great average or OBP guy, but I think he's a guy that can hit 20 home runs, and in a 2-catcher league, that would be pretty valuable.
Yeah, he was one of the guys I was targeting in the NFBC deep drafts this year. 9 bombs for Mac. And 2 in the last 3 games. And he's had 122 plate appearances, so he's gotten that good experience level to try to, typically, not all the time. You see it go the other way too. But a lot of times guys will just get a lot better after they see a month or 2 of action, and that's where Mac is right now. Probably just a 2-catcher league thing, like you said. Lane Thomas, trade candidate, but having a nice surge here. Maybe he's trying to hit his way out of Kansas City, one of the worst teams in the league this year. OPS has been rising like crazy. Lane Thomas in July hitting 290, 355 on base, 580 slug, 935 OPS. I think I already said that. 4 homers in July, 4 homers in June, and that's 8 of his 9 homers for the season. So he can do that. He had a 28 homer season in 2023 with Washington, also stole 20 bags that year. And then 2024, whatever team he played for, might still been on the Nationals at that point. 15 more home runs and 32 more bases. The stolen base attempt rate is down into the teens now. He's around 12% right now, which isn't super high, but the home runs are coming back again, 8 in the last 2 months. So Lane Thomas, definitely a guy you want to start to on your fantasy teams when the Royals face a lefty, because he's up at the top of the lineup, but he's hitting everybody right now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about the stolen bases. He got traded from the Nationals to the Guardians that year, the 2024, and basically has had leg injuries of assorted amounts since then until this year. Got it all cleared up, seems to be back and healthy.
Victor Mesa Jr., a little bit of a midseason breakout for the Rays, outfielder. 8
Just
homers.
wanted to pat myself on the back for this one. He was a guy that I wasn't very confident in throwing into our list last week of second half buys, but he made me look really good so far with a 3-game homer streak.
That's right. Yeah, 3 homers on July 18th, 19th, and 20th. He's got 4 steals, a 25% attempt rate, which is really high. All this in just 39 games. So the home run to stolen base pace is really nice here. you would multiply that by about 4. I mean, right now the pace, 162 game pace is something like 32 and 20. Wow. He had a 963 OPS in AAA this year, 2 homers and a steal there. So stolen base guy with power, can't argue with that too much. Joey Ortiz. This is going to be a tough one to sell. Another name that has changed. Sometimes he's Joey, sometimes he's Joseph.
Yes.
And that has caused me problems. But yeah, just absolutely horrible last year. Absolutely horrible until June. Since June, though, Joey Ortiz hitting 292, 336 on base, 478 slug, 814 OPS, as if the Brewers needed any more help. Hate the Brewers so much. 5 homers, 8 steals. Joey Ortiz.
Yep, he was their starting shortstop to begin the season, and then got moved over to third when Cooper Pratt came up. Although he'd pretty much lost his job at that point to David Hamilton, who is coming back from the IL today. So we'll see how long this lasts. But Joey obviously has been playing much better since shockingly losing his starting role. I think the Brewers like to have him in the lineup because he's a good defensive player. And I'm sure they like to have that experience next to their rookie shortstop. I had people trying to deal me Joey this past week. I didn't really decide that I wanted to go with him because I was concerned about David Hamilton coming back. He is much faster than Joey. He's going to give them speed. The Brewers love to run, but he doesn't give them quite as much defense. So it'll be interesting. I think he's going to be in a platoon for the most part on third now.
He is fast. He has 91st percentile sprint speed, which has gotten me interested in him in preseasons before, but it doesn't turn into stolen bases. 8th this year. It's not
David
nothing.
Hamilton fast.
Yeah. And sometimes stealing bases is more about being fast. Shout out to Josh Naylor with 21 again this year. So that's the list. And you can check out our podcast. We did this a week ago right before the second half started. Buys and sells from each team. That's still very relevant. And daily notes every day. I try to highlight low-owned players that are having a good recent success or whatever. So just trying to give you season-long fantasy baseball content all around the clock daily, if we can pull it off. But that's it for us, unless you have anything else to add.
I do not.
All right. Thanks for listening, and have a good weekend. And we will talk to you next time.